In this demonstration, we're going to show you how to incorporate auditing into your merge request process in Visual Builder Studio. We have a sample application over here. We're going to pick up this button and add an action event on it. And in the action event, we're going to call a REST service and then do an assign variable. Now, those two actions are not yet complete. We haven't specified the REST endpoint. We haven't specified which variable we are assigning. But let's assume that at this point of time, the developer thinks it's okay to merge the code into our master. And we want to prevent it by running some auditing as part of our merge request approval. So the first thing you might want to do is open up the grant file.js, which is part of your application. Over here, you can add a section that actually controls how you handle the whole auditing system. There's a bunch of variables you can control. The blog would point you to the documentation. But in our case, we're just going to paste here a grant initial configuration. And for the audit, we're going to say that we're only going to show errors and not warnings in our auditing effort. So this is one configuration you can do here. So now let's go over and commit those changes and push them into our Git repository here. And then go back into our project. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new build job. We'll call this one Audit Our Code. It's going to be used in merge requests, and we're going to hook it up to the Visual Builder default template. You can see that because it's associated with the merge request, parameters about the Git repository and branch are automatically populated here. And then we're going to add a step here to actually do the audit. To do this, we'll use a shell script. We'll execute an npm install and then use the grant vb audit to actually execute the auditing. We can also add parameters to the audit command. For example, output file can have the name of the file into which we'll store the results. So let's call it results.json. Right. Then we'll do an after build step where we're going to archive as part of this the results.json file. So we're going to keep a copy of it as a result of running this build job. All right, so now our build job has been created. We can go over and create a merge request. We're targeting our master branch with the changes we did in our development branch. We'll add a reviewer. And part of the options here is to link a build. You can see that we already show you all the builds that are a part of a merge request option. So we'll add this build over here and create our merge request. All right, so now you can see this is our merge request. We can see one person who's the approver, but also an approver that is needed here from the build job. So we can click on it to execute our build job and start it from here. So the build job is now started. We change multiple files over here, and specifically we changed our JSON file over here that has the definition of our action, so the calling of the REST service and things like that. Let's go over and check our build job. It's executing right now. And we can see the build job failed. We can go over to our build job and look at our artifacts over here. We have our results file that we can download. And then we can open it. Over here we have a report about the errors that happened. For example, we can see that we have 4 critical errors. We are missing a property here. And we are requiring an endpoint. And we have a few other things that we can fix. So let's go back to our workspace. And try and fix our branch of code. Let's simply remove some of the offending things here and fix this one. So we'll go over and assign a value to a variable. Right. So now we can commit those changes back into our branch. We'll go back into our merge request. And we'll click the build job for auditing and run it one more time. Again, the build job is executing. And this time we passed successfully. We can look at the log. We can see that we don't have any errors. And if we'll go back to our merge request, we now have a green light to do the merge directly in our merge request from our build job. At this point, you can go over and actually execute the merge to get the changes into your master branch.